Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome, Easton Historical Commission, August 31st meeting. First, we need to designate our voting members.
Well, actually, let me just go over the meeting format.
Zoom rules. Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that. I think we're supposed to just let the public know how we're handling virtual meetings. So this is in accordance with state of emergency extension from the governor. And this is attendance by board commission members will be remote, and remote attendance shall count towards quorum. The meeting will be broadcast live and recorded on ECAT. To use Zoom, you will need to use the link on the agenda or download the Zoom application, create an account to use, or use one of the call-in numbers listed on the agenda. While conducting meetings remotely, we will endeavor to keep meeting operations as close to our standard procedures as possible. However, use of this platform will necessitate some additional meeting protocols. While the board members or commissioners and applicants will be on video and audio, public participants will join the webinar as attendee, meaning they're muted with no video feed from them. During public testimony portion of the meeting, members of the public can be recognized by using the raise hand function found under participants from Zoom, or make a request with the Q&A function. If you're joining only by phone, you can press *9 to raise your hand. If an applicant wishes to display materials, please make the request to the chair and the email materials to board staff for sharing on screen. I've got all the advanced materials and I can share them as we go through. When starting testimony, please state your name and address for the record. That'll be really helpful for our recording secretary. And then there's some other just sort of general stuff. Business will be handled at times indicated on the agenda, of course. Board members are asked to announce themselves when making a motion and second, so that it'll be clear to the audience and minute takers who made the motions, and all votes will be by roll call, so we do need to remember to do that. And then once everything's done, we'll vote to adjourn, which stops the meeting and ends the ECAT recording. So that's a quick outline of a virtual meeting. Tim's called us to order, and yeah, the designation for voting members. So a motion and a second to designate Mickey Wolf and Bob Bishop as voting members for this meeting. Do I have a motion?
Motion, Hurley.
Okay.
Second.
John, thank you. Okay, so a roll call vote, and let's just go in order. Tim, and you would say Hurley, yes?
Hurley, yes.
Thank you, John.
Fresco, yes.
Thank you. Majid?
Yes.
Thank you. And you would say like Lashkari, yes?
Lashkari, yes.
Perfect, thank you. And Nikki?
Wolf, yes.
Of course, thank you. And Bob?
Bishop, yes.
Awesome, thank you all very much. And
All right, next up, we got the minutes
we do, yeah, correct.
from the last meeting.
Yeah,
before
July 15th. Yeah.
I hope everybody's had a chance at this point to read the minutes.
I'd like to move it.
Okay,
So a motion from Ventresco to accept the July 15, 2021 minutes. Do I have a second?
And I'll second it. Bishop will second it.
Thank you. Bishop second. Roll call vote. Tim?
Hurley, yes.
Ventresco, yes.
Thank you.
Lashkari, yes.
Perfect. Mickey?
Wolf, yes.
Love it.
Bishop, yes.
Perfect. You guys are getting really good at this. Thank you.
Yeah, we don't remember our own names.
So we would open the public hearing. We can't do that until 6:10, so we have another minute or two. And then we open the public hearing. The proponents would, sort of introduce the project. The commission would ask questions. If any members of the public had questions, we, sort of allow that as well. And then the commission could vote to grant a certificate of appropriateness based on the plans and specs submitted, or if they need more information, they could vote to continue to a date certain. So, we'd want to agree on a date for the next meeting to talk about that if you want to vote to continue. And then, that's how you sort of handle that. you'd vote to continue, or you'd vote to close the public hearing if you make a decision. So let me promote, here's Sam. Okay, I'm going to promote Sam to panelist. And Doug and Nino. And I think that's our two folks. And then I'll close this out. And that.
Hey, Sam.
How you doing?
Hey, good, thank you. Welcome.
Sorry, we got two laptops. I don't know if this one actually was on the set or Zoom.
Hi, Sam.
How you doing? So are we at the time?
And there's Doug. And it is 6:10. And then if you'll all bear with me, I just got a text from Greg saying that it keeps freezing on his computer. Oh, how frustrating for him.
Can you hold on just for a second? I'm just getting someone saying they can't get on the Zoom, so I'm not sure.
That's Greg.
Oh, is it Greg? Okay.
Yep, yep.
There we go. It may well be the unknown number I just got as well. I don't know.
Well, should we roll here? Or
I think so, yeah. So
Yeah.
Tim, you would formally open the public hearing for 8 Lincoln Street at whatever time it is.
okay, I believe it's 6:11, 6:12.
Yep, 6:11.
6:11, okay, this opens public hearing, 8 Lincoln Street. Sam Schofield, representing Doug King Builders, is with us. And I guess we want to get right into the proposed work, and if we have any questions.
Okay, thank you for letting me come in tonight. We're here for 8 Lincoln Street, was an existing 30-unit apartment building that has also the YMCA had the old gymnasium. Now what we're proposing is the YMCA after COVID had obviously some financial problems. So they came to us and asked if we'd buy the gym back. We said yes, if we could get 8 additional apartments inside the old gym area. So that's what we're proposing is on top of our 30 existing units is that we'll do 8 apartments in 1 commercial space. In the commercial space, we're donating to the Wings of Hope, who already is an existing renter from us at 50 Oliver Street. I don't know if you're familiar with them. They do addiction prevention for especially for kids. They do a lot of stuff in the Easton school system presently. This office that they're going to put there is going to be purely administrative. And then going back in history a little bit is that during the early mid-90s, we did the renovation of the original school. We went to the board. We went through the whole historical preservation. We kept the rotunda. Doug went through a lot of different motions in preserving it with the Easton Historical Commission. We end up getting this award from the state for that preservation. So we want to continue this going into this next phase of renovating the gym. We are not increasing the footprint of the building. We're not changing any of the pavement lines, landscaping, all that is staying essentially the same. The front facade of the existing gym is going to stay the same. Where there's changes of the facade is the sides, the north and south side of the building. There are some existing windows there presently that we're going to remove and enlarge for occupancy reasons and for obviously letting light in. What else we have? That's really it, because of the roof, all that will stay the same. All these units will be 1-bedroom units. And like I said, so really the front will be pretty good because we're not changing any of the asphalt. The front drop off will stay the same. Presently, if you drove up there today, is what it will look like The two trees that are in front of the gym will remain. There's not too much grass there right now, but we would try and introduce this to make that a little more landscape on the grass, and none of the sidewalks will move. And because our access right now is through the existing portico that has an elevator, and we're going to use that to connect to this building. So there's no new exterior stairways. The one exterior stairway we have on the southern side of the building is for an electrical room. Is one of the pre-existing stairwells that's along the eastern side of the building that will remain, and that's also one of our point of accesses. So we have the egress, we meet all our egress requirements. And then we'll just connect through our common hallway in the building, which should have been, it's part of the plan submittal that we've already submitted, showing our connections. I think that's,
Anybody, any questions?
anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I had Sam, according to Doug's letter, he specifically mentioned north and south side windows, where I'm looking at all the views. Obviously, west side, the north side is here, the east side. So am I to understand those small windows on the east side will be according to
To the rendering.
correct?
Correct. That'll be on the east and west side. He didn't do the north and south side. So he didn't show something on the inside of the north, but that'll be the same as what you see on the south side of the rendering. With those, like you were saying, with the windows, there's a small ones that will be enlarged, and then some additional, the second story windows will be enlarged also.
Approximately how much of an increase in the size of the windows are you going to go? And are you going to stay with the 6/6 or 8/8 or whatever type they have?
I would say on the side, on those north and south sides of the gymnasium itself right now, I would say we're doing probably approximately a 60% increase on windows. And yes, we will match the same design as what we did in the original renovation of the building. We're gonna have the same company build the windows. They're, I believe they're aluminum clad window with the same divided light like you were asking.
Thank you.
Sam, I just picked up today on the fact that the second floor windows are being enlarged. What's the reason for that?
It's bringing more in line because we have, if you look at the floor plans, we have a loft area there to bring some light into that loft area instead of like trying to bump up the roof. They're more like I want to say it's like a townhouse design. If you look at it, we have that loft here. So to bring light into those, I'm trying to think what building we have. 134 Main had the same thing. We put larger windows in to allow light onto that second, almost like a third story, even though we're not lifting the roof at all because we have so much headroom there. That'll bring light into that without having to lift the roof line.
So are you, the drawing says lengthened window. You're actually going up as opposed to down with the size of the window? You're opening it up?
The first floor windows get elongated, so they come down.
Those come down, correct?
Yes, I understand that, but the second floor looks like it also indicates that it's going down if you look at the rendering, but it sounds to me like it's going up.
Going to what I was saying is the top kind of works sort of stuff. So we're bringing them down. I should talk in reverse. Is that there'll be more that they're bringing them into the second floor level of the building.
Oh, so not the loft area, more the second floor level.
Yeah, second floor. So that loft third floor level, that's where the top of the window would be at. I think, is Doug Anito on this also?
Yeah, I'm on.
Yeah, oh, there he is. So he can probably speak to it better than I can. I'm more of the construction person, not so.
Well, in the existing building, that there's a mezzanine that rings the gymnasium.
Right.
So those were up high because of the slope of there's tiered seating up there originally. So that's why they kept the windows high. So we were trying to bring them down low so that living area would have plenty of light.
All right, so the top stays where it's at.
Yes, top stays
Okay.
where it's at.
And then you're gonna lower those, okay, all right. And then I understand first floor, that makes sense, light and egress, so.
Right.
Because I knew egress wasn't a problem on the second floor there.
Right.
No, sorry, I confused that.
Any other questions?
No, I think, just a comment that I think this is a great project and a great usage. great fit. I think specifically those windows on the bottom, that's a real no-brainer. Totally understand the concept and what you're trying to do here. I have no problems with it.
Anybody else?
No, I don't have a question.
I wouldn't mind a site visit if possible.
Okay, yeah, anytime.
I
If
think it's like,
anybody's available. Well, I already spoke with Wayne. If we do a site visit, we would do it on Tuesday, which would allow a Wednesday meeting, which will let you still have everything ready for your planning board meeting the following Monday.
Oh, that'd be great.
So, yeah, we don't want to be blamed for holding up for, for whatever. We kind of stumbled once. So is anyone available Tuesday to go out there?
unfortunately, I am not.
Okay.
Yeah, I can go.
All right. Mike can go, Wayne, you, me, anybody else?
What time are you looking at on Tuesday?
I don't know. I'm pretty much available. So,
And I'm available through the evening up until 7 o'clock. I know some folks have office jobs, but could of course do it during the day.
After 4 o'clock would not be a problem.
all right. So,
And Mickey, you were going to say something?
6:30. I can't get here till
you got to quit this new job. That's it.
So would 6:30 work? Would that work for you, Sam? I mean,
You talking 9/6? Is that what we're talking about? Next Tuesday?
Tuesday, the September 7th, Tuesday, September 7th at 6:30 p.m.
Yeah, it'll be done. So
Okay. So Doug, the architect will join us.
Representatives will be there because I'm actually on vacation next week. So
Okay, and then Doug can answer questions.
Sure.
yeah.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
That's great. Cool.
Okay.
All right,
So
Whoever can make it. I mean, this is not we don't need a quorum or anything. It's discussion, take a look. Well, no deliberations, just discussion.
right, it's just a fact-finding thing.
Yes.
So if we do that and if the commission doesn't want to make a decision tonight, you would not close the public hearing. You would continue it to a definite date, and the date that could work would be Wednesday the 8th at say 6 or 6:30. But we would want to make sure that we can have a quorum with most of the members who are here now. Can you actually do an historical commission meeting on Wednesday, September 8th at 6 or 6:30?
Yes.
Yes, I can do that.
Yeah, I can do that.
All right. So there's 4. So we're at least covered. I know John's not around, so Greg recuses himself from this one. So
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
So okay.
And then we also had another question, I think, about the actual windows.
Yeah. The specs.
This manufacturer specs didn't really seem to indicate what the actual windows would look like. They didn't have any grills. They seemed to be sliders. So it's a little unsure. Because when the commission votes to grant a certificate of appropriateness, they link it to elevations, plans, and specs. So if you have any more detail on the actual windows that would go in, that would be really helpful.
Yeah, like a rough opening and.
Okay.
What you sent us was catalog photos. The sliders on
It was.
Yeah.
Just because until we cut them, but we can have them do one on what the existing windows are in the building today. Going on that kind of spec and give us something on that. Because this company, that Precision Window, who they did the windows at the original 8 and they also did 115 Main Street historical renovation. So I definitely get them to give us, a ballpark of where it would be at.
Yeah. So I'm hearing that these would be custom because
They will be custom.
Okay, so you wouldn't obviously order the custom until you finalize your.
Until we finalize, we're getting into it with Anino Associates, finalizing the design.
Right.
They're not going to change. I don't think big. Doug can really speak more to that, but I don't think there'll be major changes to it. But this will definitely give you, we'll be within a very tight tolerance to it.
Yeah, I'd like to be able to put a tape measure to it and on the building and see where we're at.
Oh, where you're at, okay. Oh,
You know,
yeah.
are they gonna be double hung, 9/6 or 9/9 or 6/12 or, whatever?
Our plan was to match the existing windows that are there
Yeah,
on the existing building. So I think I uploaded some of the existing photos of the building.
Yeah, but
Um,
your second floor gymnasium don't match anything, I don't think.
Yeah,
Well-
we'll get them, go ahead, Doug.
Well, we'll do a blow up of the windows so everybody knows, and I'll put some dimensions on it, so
Okay.
we have record what it is.
All right, okay.
yeah, and I think whatever specs you can get from the manufacturer or that you could create, that we could tie the decision to for the windows, like you're actually gonna put in 9/6 in these 8 places, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
That would be
please.
super helpful.
Yeah, we can detail all that for you.
Okay,
So I'm hearing we could have most people for a site visit Tuesday, September 7 at 6:30, and then we can have an historical commission meeting Wednesday, September 8, also at 6:30, 6 or 6:30? Do we have a preference?
I'm good. Mickey's 6:30. She would like 6.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm okay with either. I can make it. Thank you.
You can make it 6 o'clock?
I can make it 6 o'clock.
Okay, so
great.
the site visit is at 6:30. The meeting is Wednesday at 6 PM.
Okay,
Okay,
Fine.
all right, so we need to make a motion to continue this hearing?
I'll
I
make a
would, I would
motion
say
to
so,
continue.
and
Yes.
I assume that that's acceptable to the applicants, correct?
It is.
Okay,
I'll make the motion to continue it.
Okay.
Second.
So Bishop first, second from Ventresco, a motion to continue the public hearing for 8 Lincoln Street to Wednesday, September 8 at 6 PM. And then roll call vote, Tim?
Earl, yes.
Ventresco, yes.
Yeah.
Lashkari, yes.
Correct, yeah,
Well, yes.
love it,
Bishop, yes.
perfect. Okay, great.
And Wade, I'll get back to you, who exactly will be meeting you on that Tuesday at 6:30. And then most likely I can chime back in for the meeting on Wednesday, so.
Okay, great. Yeah, and I figured folks can just show up at the Barlow Street parking lot. And
Yes, I think you pull in that first parking lot, when you come up Barrow Street, that'll be the best right across.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah, if it's tight, I was just.
And
park.
the little garages, we have 4 garages right there, that'd be a good spot.
Okay, awesome.
Okay. Great, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Sam. Thank you, Doug. Appreciate it.
All right, next up, we got Rick Lincoln on 91 Union Street.
We do. Let me promote him to a panelist. He should be coming in soon. Oh, he's still there. Come on. Sometimes it takes a couple tries. Okay, he's gone away. Hopefully he'll come up. There we go. Awesome.
Well, I guess a snowman. There he is. Good evening, Rick.
Hi, guys.
Thank you for joining us.
Sorry about that. I didn't think I was gonna make this meeting. I had my IT guy, my volume wouldn't work. I mean,
Wow,
thought smoke was gonna come out of the computer here pretty soon, but he fixed it. So
cool. Well,
um,
thank you. Thank you for joining us.
thanks for your time.
So the subject here is Rick is proposing to save the Monk House at 91 Union Street. I believe, Rick, you've got to lower that hill. Am I correct? For sightline purposes?
Actually, it's sightline, but it ended up being for leaching field as well. Correct.
Okay, all right, so either way. So the house will be moved to another location on the property?
Correct.
Okay, all right. And I guess tell us the rest of it about what you plan to do with the house.
And if anybody wants me to share a screen or to, put anything up, just let me know. And I'll
Okay.
rely on Mickey to walk me through it if I mess up.
Can you put up that site plan, Wayne?
I think so. If you hold on a second, let me see, share screen. Are y'all seeing this?
Yes.
Yeah, I have it.
Okay. And
Okay, we can start with that one.
and then we also have this one. So this is the larger site plan, Rick.
Okay, yeah, if you don't mind just sticking with that one for
Sure.
a
Yeah, that
moment.
gives us, that brings us to Union Street comes in on this one, yeah.
Right, this kind of gives you the 1,000-foot view a little bit. This is the latest and greatest on the entire plan, including the new apartment buildings. And you can see, can you zoom in a little bit, Wayne? Right there, the relocated historical building.
Okay. Rick, where is that? Up here in the top left corner?
It's
that?
right, yeah, down a little bit. The entrance there now is the same as the existing entrance, you know, the proposed entrance. So it's probably right where the arrow is, even, yeah, right in there. So the plan is now, I didn't, honestly, there's been a whole bunch of iterations, you know, engineers, architects. Originally, it was just going to sit out by itself somewhere. And I thought BKA, who is the architectural team I'm using, I thought they came up with a good idea. And they're like, why don't we try and utilize the building and pull it in architecturally with, I'll call it the amenities building, kind of the function room and the gym. And maybe the plan now is to use the historical building for a leasing office. You know, obviously we'll gut the inside and bring it up to speed and try and clean up the exterior as well. You'll notice that it's a smaller square than what exists out there now. And the proposal to you folks is to take off the wing that, or wings, I guess, that were added in like the 1960s, which the current owner tells me is not, it's the original box that's the historic structure. Can you move to the, can you advance one, Wayne? There should be 4 pages to that attachment.
Is this one you mean?
Yeah, so that gives everybody a sense. The colors aren't accurate, obviously. We were looking to do something, but we haven't even talked about the windows or the shutters or the colors or anything. So this is the first rendering, but you can see the general concept where he's marrying, or the team there is, the architectural team is marrying the amenities stuff with the historic building. You may want to go to page 3 and 4 just to kind of get, so there's one that I don't even know what angle that is. And then the last one.
I think Union Street would be behind us, I believe.
I'm sorry. Yes. Yep.
And I think Union Street would be over here.
Correct. Right. Right. So now with the leaching field up front, which is the only place we could put it, actually, this building needs to move to the interior a little bit, but we, like I said, we've been scratching our head. How do we utilize the building and keep it kind of out front and center and all that stuff? So that is the plan. If you wanted to zoom in on the, you had the floor plan there for a minute.
Well, you gave me 2 things. One is a standalone large site plan, and then the amenities building has.
Right.
Yeah, so.
If you zoom in there, the architect, the floor plan there for the historic house on the bottom there. Right now, we didn't know what to do with the fireplace. So he just left it a big square. You know, with the building getting moved, we'll certainly have to, center chimney, so tough to move. So we were gonna disassemble the chimney, save the brick, and then reassemble.
And is it possible to move it with the chimney intact?
Not from what I'm told, although honestly, you know, we haven't drilled down on that one. talk to the architects, talk to the building mover. So it doesn't sound great, but I'd prefer to move it with it intact, be a whole lot easier.
Yeah. Because I think, and Tim and I talked about this, you know, when this first came up, I think last fall. And, you know, Tim and I put together some comments. So the exterior materials, you know, the roof shingles, the replacement windows, the wood siding that's there now is not original to the building. And the likely original stuff is probably structural timbers to the building and the center chimney and probably some other woodwork on the inside. So my sense, talking with Tim, is there would be a preference that as much of the interior stuff, you know, the structural timbers, the brick chimney, the woodwork, to be retained as possible, and the exterior to be sort of rehabbed in a sensitive and appropriate way. And that could be, say, hardy plank siding, replacement windows with either true divided lights or exterior applied grills, nice architectural asphalt shingle roof, you know, to keep the look and character of the building, recognizing that none of the exterior stuff is actually original to the 1795 Monk House. I would probably, if you folks were up for it, you know, stick with even, you know, the like cedar clapboard. I tipped like a simulated divided light, you know, a little better than the exterior grill, I think. Not a whole lot of windows, so we could even do true divided light, not as energy efficient. That's the only issue there. But really looking to for input from you folks, because it's not that big of a building, so we'd like to really do a nice job on it. I think the wood siding sounds good. It's a thing, you know, if it could actually be kept up, I think that would be lovely.
Yeah,
yeah, the simulated divided light with the three-dimensional exterior, I think could work.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
I think you worked with Greg Strange a little on this preservation.
Yes, not on this one yet. Yeah, I've had a couple of conversations with him on just like moving the building and
right.
Nothing real specific with
good. Well, yeah, but I'm glad that, you know, you were in touch with him, because he's, you know, pro preservation as well as we are. Obviously he's a member of the commission, so that's great. Good.
Yeah. No, I love the layout. I would never have thought about pulling together different architectures like that, but that's why I think, you know, BKA, they seem to do a nice job.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, we also have, I haven't, we're not done with it yet, but now that the grades are all changing up front, you know, we'd like to do some work with a, you know, with a stone wall, you know, real stone wall, you know, and get some masons out there and kind of pretty it up on Union Street. So
yeah, you've got stone walls all around you there, so
yeah, we have plenty of stone, so that's
never shortage in Northeastern of stones. No.
Yeah, great for walls, but not great for perks.
No, or digging.
Right.
Great.
Anybody, any questions, comments?
I have a couple of comments and questions. So is it hypothetical that you're going to be incorporating the Benson House into this project? Is this a done deal, or are you still debating to go that route? I mean, I like the idea a lot. I love the idea you're going to be using cedar, painting that. It sounds like you have what we want in mind historically. I mean, it's a pretty spot. So again, to my first question, is this just still up in the air as far as a done deal, incorporating the Benson House?
I was trying to figure out where you were going with that question, like if you would prefer it somewhere else in town. But this is kind of baked into the deal right now. I have in my budget, I have a line item for house move and restoration. The bank's already committed all the money. So you know, it's pretty final. So
I like the idea and the direction you're going in with this.
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
This is a perfect example of taking a property and being able to to reuse and still maintain the character.
Right.
More applicants go in that direction.
I'd love to see the, the year on the how, some of the little details he didn't put on there. This is early, but even on the back buildings, Wayne, I think I failed to send you renderings, the most recent renderings of the apartments themselves.
Oh, yeah, I don't have those.
Yeah, sorry about that. But you can see on the amenities building there, the use of stone.
Right.
So even on the front towers of the apartment buildings, we're going to use a stone to just try and keep the colonial theme everywhere.
Nice.
I think it makes the house sit in with everything really nicely. So
Cool.
yeah.
So my understanding is this may change a bit as you go through the permitting process with the Board of Appeals and refine it. Is this a fair statement that you would come back with your final plans and material specifications, such as the windows, exterior siding, roof, what you're doing with the chimney, as that gets finalized for like a final blessing and endorsement and a letter from the Historical Commission?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Great.
Right.
Great.
Yep. Hopefully sooner rather than later. What's holding us up is that leaching field, and we don't know how high that is. They do all these mounding calcs and all the engineering stuff. So we've held off getting too crazy on grades everywhere until we get that answer, which we should have in the next couple of weeks, and then we can go to town with everything and set up another meeting with you guys once. I need to get full construction docs from BKA on this amenities building.
Excellent.
Yep.
Great.
Anybody else?
No, Wayne, nail on the head as far as what needs to be, you hit the nail on the head of what needs to be done next, and we'll see you at the next meeting.
And Ed has raised his hand, so let me allow Ed to talk here. And Ed, I think you're allowed to talk if you unmute yourself. Unmute.
Okay. I'd just like to speak for a second on behalf of the Historical Society, who's the people in charge of handing out the historic signage, and we'd be happy to provide a historic sign for the building once the project's completed.
Great.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ed.
Okay.
Oh, it's Rick again here. How do I mean, I can talk to Greg, and I heard some of the comments in that prior meeting, some of the, like the 9/9, the muttons and so forth. I mean, can I look to you guys for what it was like originally?
I'm
That
wondering.
might be more of an Ed thing or the Historical
Yeah.
Society.
Yeah.
We don't have a ton of documentation. The Historical Society might. Buildings like this tended to be 6/6.
Okay.
So at a guess, it would be 6/6 simulated divided light with exterior muttons, I think would work.
Okay.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah,
Ed, are you still there? Is
Yeah,
it still?
I think if you make contact with the Historical Society,
Yes.
they would have some pictures, or even the library may have some stuff in the background
Yeah.
for the building originally.
I
Definitely
allowed Ed to talk, and then I think I clicked something as he unmuted. Here he is. Okay.
Yeah, I'm back.
Hey, Ed.
We may have a early picture or two of the building. I'll take a look when I get down there tomorrow. And I agree. 6/6 is pretty typical of
Right.
that time and style.
Right.
Quick question also, what do you guys think about like the black sash and muttons, which is, kind of the direction everybody's going, but what do you think?
That's the
about
latest. That's the latest and greatest right now. So.
that? Right. And I can see he's done that on this, which kind of pulls in all of the black trim everywhere
Yeah,
else. So is that okay?
I would say, yeah. I don't think.
I think it looks great.
Yeah.
Let's hold off on a final decision until
Right.
Ed has a little more information on the original, color and appearance.
Right. I agree. Yeah, Rick, those are the fine things we'll work out in the end.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, if anybody comes up with anything, color, any specifics, I mean, maybe Wayne, you can just email me and I can.
Yeah, anything I get from Ed, or if we find out any more information or have any other guidance or suggestions, absolutely.
Okay, yeah, I'll let the
Excellent.
architect know.
Excellent.
Okay.
Thank you, Rick.
Yeah. So to summarize, I'm hearing the commission is very open and supportive to relocating the 1795 Monk House to a different location near its original spot on the property, rehabbing the exterior and retaining as much of the interior as possible, including the chimney, with colors and exact material specifications to be finalized at a future meeting.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Great.
Sounds
Excellent.
great.
Thank you, Rick. Appreciate the time.
Oh, appreciate your time.
Thanks,
Talk to you
Rick.
soon. Thank
Okay,
you.
bye.
Next up, we got town hall signage. Wayne, aren't there a couple of high school kids doing this?
Ed is here. I'm going to remove.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Promote
Yeah.
him to a panelist here.
Yes.
And he'll be speaking on behalf of the high school person and give us some overview of the project.
Thank you.
And there we go. He should be.
Come back, Ed.
He has to unmute himself. There he is.
There he is.
All right, very good. Thank you. Yes, I'd like to apologize. Frank Menino planned to be here this evening, and he's home. There's a health problem at home. And
Oh, boy.
this, if you're aware, today is the last day of freedom for high school students, and Lauren, the person who is in charge of the project, is actually working 4 to 8 today, so she couldn't make it. I do want to point out that I did graduate from Oliver Ames back in 1966, so you can consider me a high student.
Ed, could you remind me the name of the high schooler who's doing this?
Yes, it's Lauren Gilday.
Could you spell that?
Maybe. Gilday, I believe. We can.
Thank you. And this will help our recording secretary with the minutes as well. And she's a high school student.
She is a rising senior, and she has worked all summer. We had 2 intern projects this year, one related to Oaks Ames Hall, and this one, which kind of grew out of a conversation between Wayne and I a couple of years ago about the fact that the town offices is a very historic building, and yet we don't make the most of that. So the idea was to provide a certain amount of tasteful signage that would explain the usages of the various rooms in the building back at the time when Mrs. Frothingham lived there. So Lauren did a lot of research, interviewed people that remembered the building before it became the town hall. And interestingly, from my point of view, is we discovered a lot of information that we didn't know about Guy Lowell, the architect. And there'll be more coming on that probably in next year's internship programs. But for this year, what we've come up with are 2 sort of related proposals. One is to provide 13 small signs that would give a biography of the architect, Mr. and Mrs. Frothingham, and then smaller signs that would indicate what most of the rooms were used for. In the area where the planning department is on the 2nd floor, that was the servants' wing. So we have a single panel rather than naming all the rooms, because we believe that some of those rooms were subdivided and that the offices for the town employees are actually smaller than the ones for the maids. We're just going
Great statement. That's true.
We're going to be doing a sign that names the servants who were there in 1920.
Cool.
What we're planning to do is print those on frameless mountings, Frank has gotten the permission for Dave Field to use those instead of mounting tape. This would be a tiny screw from which it would be hung. And we all felt that that would be less damaging to the woodwork and the painting, and also give us the best opportunity to hang them in appropriate places. The second part of the program is dealing with the kiosk that's been outside for many years. You guys walk by all the time when you go to
The
town.
JC's?
What?
The JC's kiosk?
Yeah, the JC's kiosk. And I had Henry Narcasian look at it, and he believes structurally it's very sound. And it's only the photographs that have deteriorated over the years. So what we're proposing to do is make one change, which is to replace the town map, if possible, with the map of the estate. And the reason we're wanting to do that is that actually shows the placement of the two gardens, which are so famous.
Right.
Also going to replace the worn out Polaroid pictures there with pictures of the construction of Wayside and the gardens printed on iodized plates so that they should last for a long time. And we're going to replace the plexiglass with a UV resistant kind of, probably another kind of plexiglass, but it would prevent UV rays getting in there and extend the life of the print. So that's our, the cost of this is in the neighborhood of $300, and the Historical Society is happy to, well, we're never happy to spend money, but we're feeling that it's sort of our civic duty to do this, and it's a very good project. Lauren has done a good job. I've got the drafts home here to do the proofing, and we're hoping to get this underway and up by the end of September.
Nice.
It's a great project, Ed. Sounds unbelievable. Great ideas. I do have a question on the photographs and the plexiglass. Have they ever considered using those? You know, I don't know the type of material. I know they have them in Borderland. They're those steel plates where they're engraved into it. They're like anti-graffiti, anti-fading. You're supposed to be able to like hit it with a hammer and it won't do anything.
Yeah, we're not going to go quite to that extreme, but we are going to be using a metal plate. I've been told that it's an aluminum plate. It's a little bit lighter. Don't forget that that will be underneath the plexiglass. We haven't had any significant problems with vandalizing the kiosk that's there. So
it's been there for quite a few years. So
yeah, absolutely.
Will the JCs be present for this?
The JCs are out of business, except for Lee. If Lee wants to pay for it, I'd be happy to let him.
Exactly. He probably would. Thanks, Ed.
Okie doke. Any questions? Anything else?
Sounds awesome.
All right.
And I'm sorry, the timeline on this roughly would be when-ish?
We're sending us the materials out to be printed within the next week. And then it's a question of installation. Any installation inside the town hall has to be done by a town employee. With the kiosk, we're going to try to do as much of that as we can.
Nice.
Thank you. And and we're also talking that in town hall, there's a lot of awards.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. As we were wandering around the town hall, and when there were a number of visits, there's and this should appeal to you, John, because I remember many years ago you helped write the sign bylaw. I think the town hall needs a sign bylaw, because many of the signs talking about awards and attendance at conferences and things like this are 5 or 6 or 7 years old, which doesn't speak well of 6 or 7 years afterwards. So maybe a sunset law for signage that is not historic.
So to clarify, the signs like where?
Well, outside the town clerk's office, on the left-hand side of the door of the town's clerk's office is the Boston Post cane and the
Right.
Chapman and Briggs Award. And on the right-hand side are a bunch of small framed awards. None of those are very recent.
Yeah, I think there's a shovel shop one in there. There's a whole, you're right.
Yeah. And then if you actually go into the selectman's office, the Colleen Corona meeting room, there's this gigantic newspaper page, which talks about Easton being one of the top 50 towns in America, but it also has a wonderful picture of the dump. So I'm not even sure it's our dump. And that's been up forever, and it's in the back of almost every shot of the selectmen's meeting. So that's, we could do better, I think.
Point taken.
Yeah, so maybe some sort of a thought or policy or future conversation about, updating or renewing some of the various things on the walls.
Yeah, just have a time frame, how long they're up for, that's all. Like Ed said.
We all were surprised to find out because, for us who go to meetings at the town hall all the time, we were surprised to find out how many historic pictures are actually on the walls on both the first and the second floor. So we're hoping that the descriptions will add to the pictures that are already there.
Just a thought, we can go on and maybe set up a subcommittee or something, but I know we ran into an issue like this, 20 years ago at Borderland, and we started a memory book. We had so many clippings and photographs and, points of interest and so forth. And we started a memory book, and it's right at the entrance, and you can flip through that book and see, whether it be photographs or clippings. Just a thought.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah, you hate to throw those things out.
No, not at all. It's
or-
if somebody's interested, I can look into it. We had done the one over there, and it's in perfect shape. It's it's designed to go through the test of time. It's not something that's going to fall apart in 5 years. I'll look into it and I'll let you know, Ed.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, everybody, I can leave now. My sentence.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for your
Not a
time.
problem. We'll see you.
All right. Next thing is Haywood pool signage.
Or just outreach for the new local historic district.
I was in contact with the resident that's a Haywood. Spoke to her about it, and she was going to start some conversation with the neighbors.
Okay, on like how they might want to commemorate it, or
Yeah, how exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm beyond Ames Local Historic District. That's all it says. That's all the sign says. I'm not so sure where you go beyond that. Colors, are an option for them. I'm not so pleased with the Ames historic ones. I don't think they show up too well, and I don't get myself to blame for that.
okay. So we've sort of been kicking it down the road. Maybe at a more full meeting later in September, we can have a more focused discussion about what an outreach event might look like, tied into the 350th celebration. I think, isn't it the 350th anniversary of Easton?
Yeah.
250? Yeah.
Wow.
Coming up in just a couple of years. Sort of information packet for the owners, in addition to signage, something like that.
Sure.
But thank you for being in touch with some of them and starting the conversation.
Kiddo. Okay, next up is 130 Lincoln, and I make my exit, I believe.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Thanks.
Take care.
Good night. Thank you.
Okay.
We're going to the other one.
Oh. I'm going to mute you, Bob.
Bob, there's something wrong with your head.
All right, so Tim has recused himself. And we've got Cheryl Briganti and Kathy Green. I'm gonna give them sort of a loud talk. Okay, so John is chairing the meeting. And let's see, there's Kathy. She's still muted, but Kathy, if you want to speak, you can unmute yourself, I believe. Yeah, so John, do you have any sort of updates or further conversation about what we're doing?
Is Kathy and Carol there?
Excuse me?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So are you both there, Kathy and Cheryl?
Yes, Cheryl's here.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you again for attending and patience through this process. The only thing that I wanted to start with, did you get the 2 letters from our 2 historians in town, Hans and Hazel Varela?
Yes, we did.
Okay, were they, what did you think of them?
Very, very good letters, but you know, it wouldn't change what we feel we need to do with the house.
Was it brought to the attention of the other owners in the complex at all?
No, it was not.
Okay, I just was curious if it had maybe stirred some emotion or a different thought process as far as the renovation or possibly relocation. But so you didn't go that route.
No.
I did, as you know, you have until December 17th. And as I had mentioned, it really is not up to the commission to do this on its own. This is really up to the community and the applicant. So it's really threefold. We've had several members of the commission look into this. There's been a little bit of interest. We have somebody that might be in possibly moving it, but the engineering and site plans, it would be approximately $2,500 to $3,000 just for that. And then the cost of obviously to move it to another location. My question is, if I recall, and please tell me if I'm off base on it, but I remember the gentleman that was also in the conversation at our last meeting, he said, and maybe you also, that it was approximately $25,000 to $30,000 to demo this and then just level it, finish it off, put seed down and a few shrubs. Is that correct?
Yes, it's $25,000 is our estimate to remove the building and then seed the area. Any extra money we were going to do was to put some green, plantings in there. But 25,000 is what the unit owners have agreed on.
If I may ask, at our last meeting, we had asked you to recontact your membership and see if they had any input into this. And I believe I had also mentioned that I believe Mr. King had an interest, a possible interest in working with you to restore this building. Has any of that been looked into?
I did not hear from Mr. King at all. And no, I didn't put this forward to residents. They all know that we're meeting with the Historical Commission. They're all asking, when is the cottage coming down? So no, I did not send any letters off.
So I have a quick question. So if it's going to be in the 25 to 30,000 range, and somebody wanted to restore this, potentially move it and move it to another location, would you be receptive, meaning your board, your ownership group, to possibly funding that and just calling it a win-win, where you'd be saving an historical structure that 2 of our prominent historians in town agree that it's definitely worth saving, and that way we'd be saving it. You really wouldn't be expelling any more funds than what you expected or budgeted. And as I always say, it's a win-win for both sides.
I can't make that call. All I can do is represent what the vote was taken. I can't represent what people would.
Hey, what's your thoughts on that idea? We're trying to work through this, and several of these ideas have come up in the last 30 days. I said, well, let me, add my 2 cents to this and see what they say.
If you want to know what I personally think, I personally just want to see the cottage down. It is deteriorating fast now, and it is becoming a real danger for us.
Well,
I just feel this is a liability that's got to come down. We don't have the time to hold on to this any longer. That's my opinion.
So, but getting back to my question, do you think that would be something that you could bring back to your group where, again, expel the money to transfer it to another location on the property, if an applicant was interested in that proposal?
I guess I'm saying to you is I personally am not interested in bringing it to the group. The board asked an opinion of what they wanted to do with the building, and the vote was to take it down. So, and we gave them a rough price. Now that was 2 years ago. So I'm a little nervous of what the price is really going to be now.
And also, has there been any reapproach to your members? I think that's a question we keep asking. And
no, there has been no reapproach.
Is there a reason why there has been no reapproach to the membership?
And no, there has been there's no reason why, other than that the board hasn't felt the need to bring this.
Well, I think we were asking you to consider that, especially where you received the letters and some other possible options. We were hoping that you might reapproach your membership and see if we could come to a working conclusion here, as Mr. Ventresco said, to try and save this part of the town. History is I think what we're asking you to try and go forward with some of that.
I'd like to respond to this. This is Cheryl, 20 Mary Dyer Road.
Yes.
I keep really good notes on whatever meeting I'm in, and I just flip through my notes, and I don't have written down that you asked us to ask our owners that live here. And I agree with Kathy in that, we already voted on this. It's not easy to get 113 units to make a vote on something like this, okay? And the price of the demo will probably go higher than what our estimate was from 2 years ago. And I personally don't feel that the owners are going to want to do anything else besides demolish it. Besides the fact that we have a hard enough getting people to be on our board to help run our community. I can't imagine that we would get anybody to be on some kind of an some kind of a committee to move the building.
Well, it actually, and I can't wholly because this is all subject to many different things, but again, getting back to that question of if it's going to cost you 25 or 30, if somebody came in and said, I'll take it, move it, landscape it, finish it all off, would the ownership be willing to do this? I guess, and we keep going round and round on this, I guess it's really, from my understanding, it's really up to 2 or 3 of you and not the rest of the owners to maybe rethink this because new information has come in. I'm sure, I shouldn't say that, I backtrack. The possibility, let me put it this way, that your owners probably don't realize the potential historical significance to the area. They just probably think it's just an old barn and they're just or doghouse for whatever and just tear it down. Again, we were asked to maybe come to a little bit of a conclusion historically, which the commission did, and which went to prove to the point that, you know, we truly feel that it's of historical significance and worthy of saving. But again, it doesn't sound like you even want to go to that next step of possibly the win-win story of maybe cashing out, saving the building, putting a plaque donated by the Friends Crossing owners, or, you know, there's so many different things you could do here to swing this to even a more win-win from both sides. But again, my feeling right now, personally, is it doesn't seem like nobody wants to go to that direction. They just want to take it down, and we've tried. And it sounds like it's just going to have to be the December 17th vote, but then it's up to the rest of the commission to come to that final. So with that, I'm going to open it up to, I mean, Bob, do you have anything else to say?
Yeah, I think we're going to have to go to the 17th, as said. I'm sorry, but I have another commitment, so I'm going to have to back out at this point. But I am going to say that I'd like to see them do a little more research on their part. I think we have tried to help out, and that we're going to have to go till December unless they can come up with something in between. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Bob, for your input. Gene?
Okay, go ahead.
Cheryl again. My understanding through this whole process is that you guys, your committee was going to try and find other people that would be interested in doing this.
Yeah, I don't know.
And there was never any pressure on us to find people or find somebody else to work on this. So like the fact that you're asking us now, if we've asked our committee, it was never asked of us before. That if we were never asked to ask our members if we could change the plan. And my understanding is that the committee was going to look and see if they could find somebody. And it seems like you haven't.
Can I speak up for just a second, having not been here for maybe one or two, but having been here kind of at the beginning of this? And can I ask a question? In that I'm hearing, because I know for the past couple, and I've read the minutes, and I've heard that there have been various discussions about people on the historical commission finding people, and it's been a long process, I know. It sounds like someone has been found. Is this the case where they've actually been found and are committed to doing it? If we could get a proposal to your board within, say, the next couple of weeks, where you could take it to your people, that would at least give some kind of actual resolution where we're coming with an actual, we have found someone, he says he can do it for this amount. It can be preserved. You can then, instead of kind of taking a hypothetical to your members, can say, hey, we have this proposal. Could you take it out to your membership and let them vote on that? Would that be an acceptable compromise, perhaps? So rather than saying the hypotheticals, we're giving you an absolute. We found this person can do it for this price. He can get it done by this date. If we can make that happen for you before the 17th date of the next thing, would that be like an acceptable compromise for all this? Because I know you've waited for a very long time for this, and I've come to a bunch of the meetings, and we appreciate your time.
I understand what you're saying, but the thought that we would now have to wait to see if you have somebody get a proposal to us, then we would have to then write out to all our members. And the only way we can do this is we email them all, and then we end up going door to door to get the certain percentage that we need to pass anything in here. And we'll be well past the December 17th. I mean, we've waited, we've done our year, and we've no one. So you're telling me on the last month, now you found someone?
No, well, actually, I didn't say we found someone. We have someone, the people that are of interest, number one. Number two, okay, we're not in the last month. We still have 4 months to go, actually 3 months. So we still have a ways to the process. It's not an easy task. Again, if something was missed, I'm not sure whereabouts that happened, but I've been in most of these meetings and we've mentioned multiple times. In fact, you know, it's clearly stated, and I've stated it actually, I know I have at multiple meetings, that according to Mass Historical Commission, during the delay period, the building owner, the community, and the Historical Commission explore opportunities to preserve or move the threatened building together. And I know I've mentioned that multiple times, but again, I want to get in. There's obviously no interest on your part, and as I've said many times, there has to be a joint interest. So with that said, I've said my piece. I don't know if Mickey has anything left before Majid steps in.
Yeah, actually, I think I'm interested to keep this, you know, this building. I think as per historians, the two historians of Easton, you mentioned that they have that type of opinion that this has a, you know, a kind of interesting value historically. So I think I want to see to go to preserve it as much as possible, you know, rather than tearing it down, and you know, to see different options, the other options that might come out. That's my opinion.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Majid.
No, that's my opinion. I think I'm per, you know, preserving this building.
Well, I think we're unanimous in this, and unfortunately, it's not what you want to hear. So we just have to ride it out till the December 17th decision.
I would like to see us, though, come up with an actual proposal of we have X builder at Y date at Z price, and propose, see if we can present that and see what happens there. I've heard, and it's not through, I know we're all really busy, but I've heard a lot of hypotheticals about we might have this person or that person.
Right.
But I can understand from the Friends Crossing perspective, you need actual stuff from us. So if we can come up with that, then we're kind of doing our due diligence on that part. That's just kind of my perspective on it, is we need to come up with some concrete stuff, like have the builder.
Yeah, I actually agree with your thought process, but from the people that I've talked to, is they've got to lay some money out to get to that point, and to lay that money out for just engineering and design work for moving, and then it's a moot point, and then it's like, nah, we're not interested anyway, even though you brought it to us. So it's kind of a catch-22. It gets back to the first thing that I said earlier. You have to have both sides come together, and when you don't, we're going to get into a hornet's nest, and it's just, I don't see it. Again, I agree, Mickey, with what you're saying, but hopefully you see my point of view on it too. Nobody's going to lay out any money on a hypothetical from their side when they don't have the interest clearly. Again, I don't think we can go any further other than just to ride out the demo delay. And no other questions, input? I think we've cleared it.
So I'm hearing the sense of the commission is to continue with the demolition delay through December 17th or 18th, I forget the exact date. In the meantime, to Mickey's point, the commission may be able to come or find someone to approach the board, the condo board, with a more solid proposal and cost estimate, and explore if the condo board would use some of the money they've set aside for demolition to pay a building mover instead.
I don't know if I'm missing something there. Again, as I stated, several people I talked to, that it was the engineering and design work that would be running a few $1,000s. They're not going to expel that on. And again, I don't see the point when we don't have the interest there. I don't see where it would go. We could. That's a little risky on our part.
Well, it's not up to us. I mean,
right.
there's a 12-month demolition delay that expires December 17 or 18. And in the meantime, you know, a member of the community and a builder could approach the condo board with a proposal. And will, you know, you can reach out to your contacts and encourage them to do so, and they can see if they have the funds to get some engineering done or not.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen, but that's,
And then if it doesn't happen, the demolition delay just continues until December 17th.
correct.
For another 3 months. But perhaps within the next month or so, to Mickey's point, you know, perhaps a community member could find some money and get some engineering and come up with a solid proposal and see if the condo board would use some of its funds for demolition towards moving instead. And again, I think to Mickey's point, the condo association really needs something more solid to react to rather than just a lot of hypotheticals. You know, it's very hard for them to have a conversation with over 100 different unit owners. That's purely speculative. So perhaps if there's something actually solid that could help change or it could help facilitate a conversation.
It's a possibility, something to discuss, maybe. Again, I personally don't see it, but going forward, when they haven't even, you know, the board doesn't want to get to the point of taking the letters to the membership. And I totally get it that they've got to go out to 150 or whatever owners. I don't think they'd go to this extent unless, you know, they take a different direction. So I just think we should just I can discuss also with a few people that might have been interested and see what they say, but they were pretty clear on it. But that's it. Can't do any more. So with that said, if there's nothing else to be discussed, I think we're all set. And I thank Kathy and Cheryl for coming. Your patience through the process. I know it's not easy.
Okay. So is the sense that the meeting is over?
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay,
Motion.
and as a reminder to the commission members, there's a site visit for 8 Lincoln Street on Tuesday, the 7th at 6:30. And there will be a commission meeting for Wednesday, the 8th at 6.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Motion to adjourn?
Thank you, Mickey. Okay. Second?
Francesco, yeah.
Okay, and then roll call vote. So John.
Francesco, yes.
Next up, I believe, is Majid.
Lashkari, yes.
Thank you.
Wolf,
Mickey?
yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thank you.
you.
All right, have a good night.
You too. Bye.